Hey guys, long time no see, and I mean it this time. You see, I actually filmed an introduction for this video about 3 weeks ago, and it aged like milk. I'll link it in the description if you're curious as to what I said, but I am now redoing said intro as that one is no longer relevant at all. So, I'm in Japan now, which is really exciting, and it's great except there's a lot of things that I wish I'd known before coming here. So, in lieu of another sort of introduction, I'm going to discuss those things as they've been weighing heavily on my mind, but feel free to skip to here if you'd like to get through to the Piofiore Prologue playthrough. Okay, so here's a few things you should know before coming to Japan. I'm limiting myself to 3 as this is meant to be more of an introduction than an independent video. Number 1 is that you'll get called the hell out if you put something on a surface that is not a table in a store. Let me explain. So I was at Don Quixote the night I landed, as I'm the sort of annoying person who needs a box fan in order to sleep at night. Something about trauma and white noise, I don't know. And I was trying to figure out how I'd go about paying for said box fan whilst standing in front of the box for said fan. So I was laying out my cards and counting my cash, trying to make sure that I had a backup plan in case my primary card failed because my cards were misbehaving earlier at the airport and it was a whole thing. And I was using a fan box as a surface to do so. A Don Quixote employee came over and explained to me in Japanese, which I understood by the way as Japanese is my major. I just forgot it because I was so embarrassed that the box for the fan is not a table and that I had to move my business over to a table. Sure enough, he was gesturing to a little podium table thing that he wanted me to use, and I, too stunned to speak, momentarily forgot Japanese or how to read somebody's body language or just to behave like a person at all, really. I kind of stood there like I was performing as a tree in a school play. But I think he picked up some of my cards and put them on the table to show me what to do. I don't know, he was like luring me over. I don't know, it gets fuzzy, but basically, that was the most embarrassing moment of my life, and I told myself that I could never go back there. I did, of course, end up going back there, but it's the most overstimulating place you can imagine, and I do not recommend it if you're prone to sensory issues. The second thing is that eating is kind of impossible here if you're like me, a very picky eater. I was told that there were things I could eat at the 7-Eleven near my dorm. I was told that the 7-Eleven had a very vast American section, but that was absolutely not the case, so I ended up having to contact my grandma's friend who teaches English at a military base a few hours away. She asked me what I like to eat, and I told her that I like to eat pretty much anything a 2-year-old American would eat, and she delivered. She got me Lunchables and like cheese spray. It was great. I think I might actually, be like dead right now if it weren't for her, so shout out to Miss Melanie. And this is your sign, if you're like me, to please, please, please bring microwavable macaroni or protein bars or something else that you can put in your luggage so that you don't disintegrate the second you get here. But they do actually have chicken nuggets at a lot of places. They're just called karaage. Karaage? I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, me when it's my major. The third and final thing is that you need to wear your backpack backwards on public transportation so that it looks like it's your tummy. I didn't know that and I've looked like an ass before. Also, you don't have to say sumimasen or gomennasai when you do something a little rude or accidentally bump into someone. You can just kind of nod your head a little and it'll save you the embarrassment of someone not understanding your Japanese, which has happened to me. It happened to me today actually when I had to go to the police station to file a report for my missing passport. Okay, now that we've concluded the update corner, I'm ready to travel back in time to 1920s Italy and seduce the Italian mafia, which is exactly what I would do if I were in Doctor Who, by the way. Alright, so Piofiore opens up with a song, which I'll have linked in the description, and then segues into this video that you can skip if you want. I'll link this video in the description as well. There's 2 videos it starts with. I don't have the mental bandwidth to sit here and watch it for like the 10th time, so I'll be summarizing its contents here so that we're all on the same page. It's September 25th, 1925, and we're hearing the yapping of a young man called Roberto de Feo. Side note, is anyone else thinking about how feo means ugly in Spanish? Just me? Okay. Feo, can I call him that? I'm calling him that, has just finished typing up his 3rd quarter report for the Berlin Police Department, which is where he's hanging out for the time being, even though he's really a privileged little guy from Rome and does not need to be taking any of this seriously. Berlin is a seaside town in Italy that used to be a papal state. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Think modern-day Vatican City. But it's now run by the mafia, and extraterritorial rights are a thing because, it used to be run by the church, and it's like the church's influence is still strong, and I think the mafia is probably capitalizing on that, so it's a confusing situation, but basically, it's run by the mafia, and that has to be okay. It's also a historical trading post and a tourist destination known throughout the world as the back door to Europe. Illegal trade is all the rage here, as are fraud and corruption, and this town remains in perpetual conflict. There are 3 major players in said conflict: the Falzone, the Visconti, and the Laoshu. The Falzone are the largest and oldest group and exert control over the Falce district, which is about 60% of Berlin. They're led by Dante Falzone, who became the boss after the former boss died because, you know, duh. People see him as merciless and cruel, and their family is responsible for a lot of the bloodshed that's happened in Berlin. Speaking of blood, they love it. They run their mafia like a monarchy, and bloodlines and lineage and all that hoopla matter tremendously to them. So you have to be a Falzone, a part of that family, to like be in the upper ranks, but you can maybe be a part of it in some capacity if you're at least Italian. But about a decade ago, a group within the Falzone family was like, "This is dumb, we're leaving," in reference to the blood stuff, and they became the Visconti. The Visconti are in charge of the southeast district, which is called Creta. Creta? Like crater, like they're lunar people or something. Anyway, they're besties with America and have endlessly deep pockets to aid in their expansion efforts. Gilbert Redford is their current leader, and everyone loves him because look at him, he has an eye patch! The last group is called the Laoshu. They came from China as they're a branch of the Chinese mafia, and no one knows a thing about them except that their leader is some dude named Yang. Initially they were a chill group of immigrants, but then Yang messed that up because of course he did. They're all chill in Veleno, but it's not really chill because it's really violent and scary there. Anyway, so Roberto De Feo, who I'm affectionately calling Feo, is like, "Hey man, can you sign off this report for me?" And Marco, his overseer and the cool older head of the police department in Berlin, is like, "Sure, but can you take it down a few notches because your intensity is completely unnecessary and also contributing to my wrinkles." And Feo is in his light Yagami era, and therefore not listening to a word he says. Marco is like, "I get wanting to uphold justice, but we're in Berlin, and it's not going to be the way you want it to be in our lifetimes, so could you just read a book or take up a hobby or something?" And Feo is like, no. He has this sigh that I think is funny. Marco tells Feo that he's young and needs to get his head out of his ass and not die young because he single-handedly, delusionally thought he could change how the city is run. And that's it. That's essentially what the whole opening movie says. I may have taken a few artistic liberties, but you get the idea. Now, onto the prologue. We are about to assume the role of Liliana Adornato, a young woman in her 20s who lives and works at the church in Berlin's Arca district, which is supposed to be a neutral zone in regard to the mafia's territorial claims. I'm done. We're Liliana Adornato, and we're in Italy, and it's gonna be a great day. I yawned, stretching, and climbed out of bed to open the window. Okay, guys, this is not my best voice acting. It's casual, you know? Autumn already. The sky was a vibrant blue. I felt the cool, crisp air on my skin as I took a deep breath. Okay. Mornings at the church were always busy, so I needed to get dressed quickly. No one's here yet. I wrapped my hands around my rosary and knelt to say my morning prayers. Thank you for your kindness in allowing us to greet the morning once again. May you guide us with your light and watch over us on this blessed day. Aww. Praying first thing was like saying good morning to our Father in heaven. As a Christian, I really love that way of looking at it. Now then, time to get the place cleaned up. Damn, what antidepressant is she on? I finished my prayer and stood up to fetch the cleaning supplies. I'd better get this place open as soon as I can. Wait a minute. Is it solely our responsibility to do all of the morning cleaning and morning responsibilities and then open up the church, unlock the doors? That's kind of a lot. The elderly came in rather early to say their prayers. I should hurry. I wouldn't want to keep them waiting after all. Once the inside was clean, I moved to the backyard to rake the fallen leaves. If I can finish before breakfast, I might even get to help cook too. I could use some Liliana in my outlook on life. Elena is in charge this morning, isn't she? I can't wait! Elena, the love of my life, the love of her life, question mark? As my thoughts drifted off to breakfast, so true, girl, I noticed a shadow in the graveyard. Oh. And here we go. First CG. A man with a bouquet of white lilies stood in front of a grave. Isn't he Dante Falzone? He comes every Wednesday morning to lay flowers on this grave. Hang on. Pause. He's laying flowers on a grave and we're ogling him? Furthermore, if he does this every Wednesday and we know that he does this every Wednesday, is there, like, a reason that we should be ogling him this day in particular? We shouldn't be ogling him anyway. This is a private moment. Anyway, he's just some guy. All I know is that he's a mafia boss and a ruthless one at that. Maybe it was the morning sun, but he's so beautiful. He's just some guy, Lily. You're finer than he is. The air around him shimmered and drew my eyes to his. Wait, hang on. The air around him shimmered? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? He's a vampire. The air around him shimmered? Is it like his skin sparkling? Yeah, okay, I'm on to you. I know what you are. Oh, I feel unsafe now. Not because he's a vampire, but because he's looking at us. He's looking at me. Wait, was I just staring at him? Yeah, you were. I was staring at the Falzone's boss. He must have realized I'd been watching him all this time. This is so embarrassing. Cheeks stinging, I closed my eyes. It was so rude of me to stare. Yeah, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment, not gonna lie. He placed the bouquet on the grave and slowly headed toward me. Run away. He's coming. He's what? He would need to cross through the yard to where I was standing to get to the front. Should I say good morning to him? Okay, the walkthrough says that we should ignore him, which was kind of my inclination anyway, so let's ignore him. It's rude not to greet someone. Okay, why'd you give me an option if you were going to scold me, Lily? We're supposed to be on a team here, you and I. I usually greeted anyone who passed by, especially the members of our parish. I'm going with parish, it sounds cuter. But he does come here early in the morning to bring flowers. I assumed he did that so he wouldn't be bothered by others. If that's the case, I better leave him alone. I nodded without saying a word. Ugh. Huh? I looked up and saw that he was standing right in front of me. Okay, are we in his way? Should we move to the side? What's his issue? Is it that the sun is burning his skin, given that he's a vampire? Signore?
ずいぶん早いんだな。
Okay, if I see him every morning, then surely he sees me every morning, or every Wednesday morning, or whatever. Don't we see each other every week? Why is he... I don't understand. Anyway, why, yes, I wanted to clean before everyone arrived this morning. I do it every morning, actually. You're quite early yourself, signore.
ああ、そうだな。
What's this all about, girl? I don't know. Why is he talking to me? Is that funny to you? That's hilarious to me. Why is he talking to me? Is there something he wants from me? This is like social anxiety simulator. I love it. Why is he talking to me? I've never spoken with him like this before. I was just a commoner and he was in the mafia. It was unusual given our standings. Okay. He mumbled something with the same stern look on his face. Why did he say that as though it was like a confession to murder? Yes, anche a te, signore. After seeing him off, I went over to the grave where he had just stood. I kind of want to skip the meanwhile story. I want this to feel like we're playing the game from Lily's perspective. Well, like Lily if she and me were like a hybrid, I guess, because I'm kind of criticizing her a little bit. Oopsies. If we really were seeing life through Lily's eyes, we wouldn't be privy to the contents of the meanwhile story, so I'm skipping it. The Falzone family grave. Here lies the boss of the Falzone family, together with his beloved wife. It was already breakfast time and everyone was gathered in the dining hall. The church offered food, shelter, and education to children in need. Do we have like a homeless ministry for adults though? Even after reaching adulthood, some children decide to stay and help the sisters with their daily chores. Just like Elena and me. Elena! Sophia. Is she the one who made us do everything by ourselves this morning?
我らの父よ、あなたの慈しみに感謝して、私たちは今日の食事をいただきます。ここに用意されたものを祝福し、私たちの心と体を支える今日の糧としてください。
Sustenance for our souls? That sounds like something a vampire would say. Wait a minute, is that why we, the player, had to do everything this morning, all the morning chores and, you know, going outside and unlocking the doors and all that stuff, raking leaves? Is it because Sister Sophia can't be in the sunlight, given that she is a vampire and she would be sparkling? I'm not saying that she's also a vampire, but I'm just saying it's something to think about. With those final words from Sister Sophia, everyone began to eat. I noticed a boy sitting near me with his hands on his lap. Jean, what's the matter? Aren't you hungry?
そうじゃないけど。
ジャンは来たばかりだから、ここでの食事にまだ慣れないの。好き嫌いしてるのよ。
That is so true. Me in Japan. I'm struggling.
ラウラだって、朝ごはんがコルネットやカプチーノだったらいいのにって言ってたじゃんか。
Damn, Laura.
だって、その方が大人って感じがするもん。
I kinda like Laura. She's a dreamer. Now, you two. Jean, you need to eat so you can grow up nice and strong.
うん。
As for you, Laura, you'll need to work hard before you can afford such a fancy breakfast, you hear?
はーい。
Mind you. I bet you won't find soup half as good as what we have here no matter where you go. The food Elena prepares is always delicious. Especially the minestrone maritata. My semester of Italian did not help me at all there. Elena!
ありがとう、リリー。
The soup today had a hint of common human, and the biscotti she baked was light and sweet with a warm, gentle flavor.
私、あなたに食べてもらうのがとっても好きなの。
Well, I enjoy your enjoyment of my enjoyment.
いつもすごく美味しそうに食べてくれるんだもの。
Sure enough, a smile peeked through as I dipped my biscotti in the soup. I can't help myself, it's so good!
でも、お菓子作りはあなたの方がずっと上手よね。また教えてくれる？
Of course, anytime, any place, anything for you, I love you. Of course, Elena. We were both raised in the church. Elena was not only a dear friend to me, but practically my sister. Okay, I'd like to take back anything I said that implied that the two should be a couple. Never mind.
ねえねえお姉ちゃん、朝ごはんの後本を読んでくれる？
もちろん。
私も聞きたい。読んで。
Of course, I've already finished everything I needed to take care of this morning.
やったー！
皆さん、今は食事中ですよ。もう少し静かにいただきましょう。
Yeah, I don't want to piss you off.
主への感謝を忘れずに。ね。
The weather was nice, so I decided to bring the children out to the backyard. As time passed, the sun grew brighter and warmed up the cool air around us. Is anyone cold? Who needs a blanket?
大丈夫。
All right, then let's continue where we left off. I was reading to them from a book about God and the angels. The church's teachings were delivered through stories, many of which the children enjoyed. Hello.
お姉ちゃん、今のところもう一回読んで。もう一回。
Huh? You don't want me to keep going?
うん。だって天使様ってかっこいいし。
The bright faces of the children looking up at me made me smile.
ねえねえ、お姉ちゃん。この教会にも天使様の伝説があるって本当？
Can you imagine if this just like became Mormonism? If she was like, yeah, actually it's about this guy, Joseph Smith, and he found these gold tablets or gold plates or something. And like, can you imagine? That is true. I'm surprised you've heard of it, Laura. Long ago, an angel descended here from the heavens. It is said that the angel delivered a message to someone to build a church here.
すごい。
それは
An unfamiliar voice suddenly cut into my conversation with the children. I've seen that person before.
今あなたが話していたのはこの町に伝わる神託の話ですか？
Should I be shielding the children? Why is he wearing a hood? Is he also a vampire? Why, yes.
もっと詳しく教えてほしい。
What else? Well, I'm sorry, I'm not well versed in it. After all, it's lore from long ago. All that is known about it is that the person did build the church here and grew the town to what it is today.
天使が神託を誰に授けたのか聞いたことは？
For the love of God, or there's a library like around the block in the Arca district. You know, the library, you passed it to get here. Hear me out, what if you grabbed a book? Unfortunately, I haven't. That's odd. A church on an island off of France was supposedly built in the same manner. The church stated who actually built it. It's almost like people abuse the name of God and, you know, the principle of angels because they want to push an agenda or something. It's almost like that happens or something. I don't know. But there is no record of who received the angel's message in Berlin.
知らないならいい。
Okay. The young man mumbled, then turned his back and walked away.
変わったお兄ちゃんだったね。
Okay, Laura, it's only okay when I say it. I suppose.
ねえお姉ちゃん、本の続きは？
Oh, sorry about that. The story of God and the angels. The book said that the kingdom of God was for the children, but it absolutely is. What's the matter, Giovanni?
ねえ、リリーお姉ちゃん、聞いてもいい？
Why, yes, what is it?
このお話って本当のことな
I
の？
don't know, I wasn't there. Huh?
僕ね、ずっと不思議だったんだ。神様がいるなら、どうしてみんな幸せになれないの？
That is a rough question, Giovanni. Giovanni. I need to answer him. Alright, if it were me answering this, I think that I would go with that's what life is. Frankly, I don't care if Giovanni's a bunch of ones and zeros. I'm not promising him a happy life. That's what life is. Giovanni, living as humans means that we will experience being happy and sad. I think that applies to everyone here on Earth.
本当に？
Yes, no matter how happy or strong a person looks, they carry hardships and pain within them. That's what life is all about.
生きるのって辛いことなの？
Yeah. I think it takes a lot for us to live the way we do. But that doesn't mean we must always suffer. We enjoy life and are blessed with happiness as well. It's something we all go through. And that's why we do our very best each day to try and be better people despite our hardships. I think there is meaning in us living this way. This is just my way of thinking, but you may think differently, Giovanni. And that's perfectly fine. I patted Giovanni on his head. I'm sure you'll come up with your own answers as you grow older. After a short while, he raised his head to look at me.
お姉ちゃんの言ってることは難しくてわからないことだらけだけど
It's so wonderful to admit your shortcomings and concede when you don't understand something.
でも僕少しだけわかったかも。
That's enough. Really?
ありがとうお姉ちゃん。
You're very welcome.
リリー、少し話せますか？
Okay. Is something the matter, Sister Sophia?
実はあなたにお願いしたいことがあるのです。明日の炊き出しでお菓子も一緒に配る予定だったでしょ？
Yes.
先ほど材料を確かめてみたのですが、少し足りないようで。
Oh, then let me go and buy what we need. Can we make any sort of sweets? It would be great if I could make use of the ingredients we already had on hand.
ええ、お願いします。でもごめんなさいね。せっかく子供たちの相手をしてくれていたのに、お使いを頼んでしまって。
Oh, don't worry, Sister Sophia, I'm fine. The children raised here often left once they were in their 20s. For me, though, I decided to stay as an adult because I loved this place. Being able to work for the church was like a blessing to me. Not to mention, your knees weren't in the best state last I recall.
あら、分かってしまいますか？
I've lived here a long time, Sister Sophia. Every winter, she walked shakily as if trying to hide the pain. Don't you worry, please leave it all to me.
ありがとう。あなたは本当に優しい子ですね。
Maybe she won't suck my blood now.
ストラノの方々も炊き出しを心から楽しみにしてくれていると思いますよ。あなたのお菓子はいつも評判が良いですから。
Well then, I suppose that means I need to do my best. Making other people happy makes me happy too. I'm kind of an empath. Now then. I closed the book and looked at the children. I'll need to take care of something, so could we continue the story later?
残念だけど仕方ないよね。
お姉ちゃんいいな。お出かけできて。僕も外で遊びたい。
あら、遊びに行くわけではありませんよ。教会の外には危険もありますからね。
Yes, and even if you do step outside, always stay within Arca, okay? And don't go into Veleno. Oh, and avoid going into Strano too. The church was located in the Arca district, the safest area in town. On the other hand, Veleno and Strano were dangerous even for adults.
ねえねえ、もし街でマフィアと会
Fucking
ったら
run.
どうすればいいの？
Just kidding.
目を合わせないようにするとか？
You know that clip from Twilight? As if you could outrun me!
いいえ、きちんと挨拶なさい。特にファルツォーネは古くから
She said be
礼儀
nice
と
to the
信仰を重んじる方
Christians, fuck
々です
everyone
から
else.
ね。では、みんなで彼女を見送
That's
りま
kind
し
of
ょう。
not what she said at all, actually.
本の続きは私が。
ありがとうシスター。
いってらっしゃいお姉ちゃん。気をつけてね。
I'll be off then.
ボンジョルノリリー、
Ah,
元気かい？
okay. Buongiorno to you too. I'm doing well. The weather is looking fine today, isn't it?
朝からあんたに会えるとは幸運だ。わしらもいい一日を過ごせそうだよ。
That's cute. Grazie, signore. Are you two coming in for the service today?
そうだよ。毎日お祈りに来るのが習慣になってしまっているからね。
あんたはどこか出かけるのかい？
Oh, I'm going shopping to buy some ingredients for sweets.
そりゃ楽しみだ。あんたのお菓子はわしらも大好物じゃからな。
Isn't that like your wife right there? Maybe her sweets should be your favorite? I'm glad to hear it. The Berlone Church baked sweets to sell and also to give out to those in need.
教会で育ったあんたが大人になった今、教会を支える一人になって、
Oh.
そんな風に生まれ育った場所、 大切にできるのは素敵なことだね。
Really?
最近の若い者はすぐにふるさとを捨てていってしまうからの。
Okay, I don't think that's particularly kind of you to say. But we're in front of a church, luckily, so you can, like, work it out with God after, I guess. Yes. Lately, many young women had been leaving Berlin for other places. Last month, my friend Viola left, and this month it was Eliza. Both of them came to the church to tell us of their departure.
みんな都会に憧れがあるのかね。
They should be able to live their lives. Let's see what the guide says. I understand why they left. I understand why they would want to leave for the city.
おや、あんたも外に行きたいのかい？
I don't know what things are like outside of Arca, and sometimes I think about how things might be in places outside Berlin.
でもね、あんたは外に出て行ってもきっとすぐこの町に戻ってくるよ。
I think you're right. There is something special about our hometown after all.
お、そうだ。アルカを出るならよく気をつけるんだよ。
ええ、ベレーノの方には一人で行かないようにね。
Oh, I cut her off. Oops. Yeah, I was just saying something similar to the children at church. There is no universe wherein Lily would say, yeah, but whatever, I'm already making her have a southern twang.
おや、そうかい？
Thank you for your kind consideration. For today, I'm just going to the store around the corner, so I'll be right back. Well, I'll be going now. Goodbye.
ああ、行っておいで。
I bowed my head to them and waved as I left the church grounds. Taking a shortcut to the store, I passed in front of the casino area. At night, this place was lively and bright, but it was so empty in broad daylight. Berlin is known for its beautiful beach and casino, both of which bring tourists to the area. As long as they don't step out of the Arca district, it's generally safe for them too. The casino, the church, and the police station were all in this district.
シニョリーナ、少しいいかい？
Oh dear. This really is social anxiety simulator, huh? Okay, he's pretty though. He's pretty. A voice called to me as I passed the casino. The man looked like he was in his 30s, and he was quite handsome. You're telling me. Is there something the matter?
些細なことが気になったものだから。もしや、君はカジノに興味があるのかと。
I am just walking. Oh, I was just passing by. I don't have a particular interest. I don't have a talent for gambling. But more than that, I'm not the type to even step inside a casino.
満点の回答だ。
Sorry, I didn't realize I was being graded? Did Sophia send you?
そうとも。君のような女性はこんな真靴に足を踏み入れるべきではないよ。
Don't be so sure. I may or may not be sipping on a lemon sour as we speak. Someone like myself. You speak as if you know me. This is the first time we've met, isn't it?
いや、違わない。私たちが言葉を交わすのは初めてだよ。しかしながら、立ち居振る舞いを見るだけで、その人のあり方は大方予想がつくものだ。
Asumi makes an ass out of you and me. But he's pretty, so I'm willing to let it slide. He continued to speak in a way that made it seem like he was warning me.
君は賭博場など関わらない方がいい。
I just spoke over him. Oops.
賭け事では所詮、真に価値のあるものなど手に入れようがないのだから。
Okay, Mr. Philosophy Major. Oh, And with that, he turned around and walked away. Who was he? I don't know, but I like him. I walked through the streets with the warm afternoon sun on my shoulders. As Arca was home to the police station, the district court, the hospital, and other such facilities, its citizens felt at ease. Now then, I held up the purchases I just made and began to ponder over their contents. With the flour and lemons, I could whip up the torta al limon. I prefer using tart lemon cream with a sprinkle of herbs, but cream doesn't last very long, so it's not the best option. If the sweets are going to be provisioned, then perhaps baked sweets would work better. As I thought about what to make, I came across a couple of young girls talking. Oh, I know where this is going, but I'm gonna have to pretend like I don't.
ねえ、見て、あそこ。うわあ、あの人かっこいい。
Huh? I turned my head toward the bar across the street, day drinking. I need to act like I don't know who he is. Immediately my eyes focused on a man seemingly under a spotlight. I've seen him before. He comes to mass with Signor Falzone every so often. I don't know his name, but he must be a member of the Falzone family. Huh? Is he looking at me? I felt like I was going through the same event as this morning, as my mind drifted off in thought. He winked as if he were playing with me. What? What is he, some kind of womanizer? My instincts told me that this way of behaving must come so naturally to him. But not knowing how to handle it made it difficult for me to hide my scarlet cheeks. Ah! The lemons in my bag fell out and rolled around my feet. Oh dear, I'm sorry, I must have been daydreaming. I feel unsafe. But he's pretty.
気をつけろ。
Never mind, very ugly. Him. Back to feeling safe.
ちょっと待てロピー。今のはお前からぶつかっただろう。リリーは悪かねえよ。謝れ。
繰り返しますが、俺はロベルトです。変な愛称で呼ばないでください。
I have a solution. We should all call him by Feo, his last name. It means ugly in Spanish.
お前な。
I'm fine. Thank you, Marco. I tugged on Marco's sleeve and smiled. She would have said it nicer than I did. I wasn't looking where I was going. I'm so sorry, Roberto.
たく、いい子だな、本当に。感謝しろよ、ロピー。
Marco and Roberto worked as detectives in Berlone. Marco was born here. I heard that he used to help the church out every time there was trouble. Roberto was recently assigned here. He still seemed tense, probably because of the stick up his ass and the fact that he's not accustomed to the environment. And...
なんだ?
Oh, nothing. He didn't seem to like me. That's been the case ever since the day we met. I hurriedly looked away from him and bent down to pick up my lemons. It was then that I noticed a well-polished leather shoe appear in my eye line. It looks like a dog pissed on the shoe.
はい、どうぞ。
Ah! The person at the bar was standing in front of me. He gently wiped away the dirt on the lemons with his fingertips and handed them to me. Grazie, signore.
Nicola Francesca!
It is like 10 in the morning. Shut the hell up. His loud voice stopped passerbys, making them turn their heads. But the moment they saw who was involved, they continued on their way.
マフィアの分際で、よくもこの通りに顔を出せたものだ
God
な。
forbid a man walk down the street.
僕がどこで何をしていようと君には関係ないと思うけど。
Thank you.
舐めているのか？ここは書の目と鼻の先だぞ。
Imagine how many unlawful arrests there would be. Wait, no, Roberto would be okay. You know, like speed traps, and you know how cops like sometimes just really want to arrest people because they have to like get their numbers up or something. You know, like Roberto would be really good at that.
だから僕はそこでコーヒーを飲んでいただけ。それだけで僕を捕まえる理由になるとでも。
When you do it, it pisses me off.
あのバールのエスプレッソは絶品でね。たまにどうしても立ち寄りたくなるんだ。
Are we intervening or observing? I'm pretty sure that we're supposed to observe. Yeah, I don't know. No guide is helping me, so we're gonna observe is what we're gonna do. Marco looked around a bit and then mumbled something to Roberto.
それくらいにしとけ、ロビ
ー。マルコ。
いつも言ってんだろ。そろそろこの町のルールを覚えたらどうだ。
Get that man on some Lexapro.
お前はブルローネの警察なんだぞ。他のどこでもない。この町の。
分かっていますとも。このブルローネはマフィアの支配を公然と受け入れている。
We got all this from the expository video I didn't want to watch. Roberto raised his voice even louder.
彼らに正義などないと知りながら、市民の誰もが奴隷のように従属している。
Okay.
こんな状況、認められるものか。治外法権。犯罪者は正義の名のもとに等しく罰せられるべきだ。
随分と正義感の強い刑事さんだね。
How wholesome to see such a dedicated civil servant.
笑っていられるのも今のうちだ。現政権はマフィア排斥に力を入れている。いつまでも思い通りになると思うな。
お前な。
That was a threat. He should be arrested.
分かってんのか？相手がニコラだから笑って流してくれてんだぞ。そうじゃなけりゃお前は明日にでもアドリア海の魚の餌になってるだろうよ。
Why couldn't it have been someone else?
もし相手がファルツオーネのカポやらラオウ州の連中だった日にゃ。
聞き飽きましたよ、そんな話。俺は仕事に戻ります。
おいロッピー。
マルコも大変だね。
すまねえなニコラ。これでも耳にタコができるくらい言って聞かせちゃいるんだ。この町はファルツオーネの恩恵を受けてでかくなったんだって、よそで生まれ育ったあいつにはちっとばかし理解が及ばんのかもな。
It really shouldn't be that hard to understand.
じゃあ俺もそろそろ署に戻る。
I understood it after the expository video I didn't watch.
リリー、何か困ったことがあればいつでも相談に乗るからな。
Yeah, do you have like an opening right now?
まああるかでもめ事なんぞそうそう怒らねえだろうが。
Marco glanced toward Nicola and snickered quietly. The mafia families in Arca all honored an unwritten rule not to interfere with one another.
いざって時は遠慮すんなよ。
Again, do you have an opening right now? Yes, thank you, Marco.
お前とも長い付き合いだからな。それに女子供には優しくするのが俺の流儀さ。
Why couldn't he have been like 50 years younger? Marco turned back and waved a hand. I saw him off with a smile.
それにして
For the
も
love of-
たくさん買ったね。
Okay, trigger warning, please. Damn. Jump scare warning. Huh? Oh! Nicola lifted the bag I was holding right from my arms.
教会まで送るよ。
Is there a runaway option? Thank him. Okay, I guess I'll thank him. Thank you very much, Signor Francesca.
どういたしまして。ところで僕は君に名乗ったことあったかな、
No, but I heard Roberto address you when we were by the coffee shop. Was I mistaken?
いや、合っているよ。
His smile is so bright and endearing. He picked up the lemons I dropped without a second thought and is carrying them for me now. I'm just eager to like get out of his line of sight.
どうかした？
No, nothing. Wait, is he the sort of vampire that can read minds? Is that why he was like, is something wrong? Is it because he knew that I was like a little uneasy in his presence? I think here should be fine. Thank you for your generosity, Signore. It has been a great help to me.
役に立てたならよかった。君のその笑顔が何よりの報酬だよ。
Okay, he can read my mind or he's breaking the fourth wall or something because that is such a cheesy little otome line that he has to know he's in an otome game.
じゃあ、気をつけてね。
Was that harassment? It felt like he whispered in my ear. I didn't like it. Huh? What does he mean by that? Girl, no one knows. It's Nicola. I guess he means for me to watch my step next time. We need to get him set up with the philosophy major. They could just have a good time. Still, I felt something odd about his words as he silently walked away. Are we meant to watch the meanwhile story? I don't think so. We proceed. It's almost time for dinner, so I'd better help Elena. I felt uneasy, but I forced myself to focus and headed inside with the groceries in hand. It's almost time for me to close the doors to the church. Nightfall had come and I'd made my way down to the aisle as usual. I totally messed that up. The doors to the church were open during the day for parishioners to visit. Oh, I think it's the philosophy major. As I was about to lock the bolt on the door, I sensed someone passing by. Did someone go into the backyard? Isn't that the man I met today? Or at least it seemed like it was him, judging by his silhouette. He's visiting the graveyard at this hour? What should I do? What am I going to say to him? I pondered for a moment with my hands on the door.
Lily! どこにいるの?
Oh, just a moment, Elena. I'll be right there. It's so dark outside. I returned to my room and began to get dressed for bed. It was then that I looked into the mirror and caught my reflection. I saw the birthmark on my chest. I thought it would go away as I grew older, but it's still here. I felt a sadness come over me, but I shook it off and continued changing. I knelt next to my bed and clasped my hands together to say my prayers. What should I pray for? Give thanks for the day. I thank you, God in heaven, for watching over us today. A prayer of thanks for the day. It was a blessing in itself that I was actually alive here now. If I had simply roamed the streets as an orphan, who knows what would have happened? The church raised me to be the person I am today. Dear God, please, please grant me the strength to help others one day. Good night. I wrapped myself in my soft blanket and soon drifted off to sleep. Mandatory meanwhile story. Let's go. Oh, we're Yang.
Yang! おかえりなさい!
My children. Just kidding, I need to act like I don't know who they are, but I'm Yang, so I guess I do know who they are.
黙れ、頭に響く。
Say what you will about Yang, his voice is amazing.
だってヤンが帰ってきて嬉しいんだもん。
黙れ。
ひどい。
ガキはもう寝ろ。くだらんおしゃべりに付き合う気はない。
じゃあ報告はどうしたらいい？明日の朝にする？
言ってみろ。
例の物について調べてみたよ。ヤンの読み通りあちこちに広がってるね。
そうそう、ペレーノとストラノが中心だけど、それ以外にもゆっくり浸透してる感じよ。
Oh dear.
では噂になるのも早いか。
多分ね。で、どうするの？ヤン。
放っておけ。今はまだ無視しろ。面白くなる頃合いまで泳がせて、それから決める。
Okay, he should be invited to the function with the philosophy major and Nicola. Those three, we should lock them in a room.
ヤンらしいね。
風向きが変わろうとしている。
There were three... Oh, wait. There were three organizations, each vying for a place, so there was no real balance of power.
崩すのはたやすい。何より積み上げるより手間がない。ファルツォーネとビスコンティは独自と分かっていても食らう以外の選択肢がない。ようやく楽しい遊びが始まる。しかし何かと面倒な男だな、あの芸家は。
Is this like the king of the vampires, aka Sophia's long-lost husband and Dante's dad?
まったく夢にも思わなかった。
Well, all right, here we are. Don't know who we are.
俺のような犯罪者風情が神聖な峡谷に足を踏み入れる日が来ようとは。海沿いの田舎町からわざわざこの地にご招待いただけて光栄の至りです、芸家。
Oh, that's who we are.
ところで尊いお方は下々の時間などいくら浪費しても減らないとお考えか？
I think he's speaking in Keigo?
謝礼は払う。そう約束したはずだ。
And he is definitely not.
気遣いに感謝を。
忘れているのではないだろうな。我々は互いに協力関係にあるのだと。
滅相もない。芸家には多くのご友人を紹介していただいた。俺たちが支払う対価にふさわしいだけの知恵も授けてくれている。
Okay.
だから清い方々にはさせられない汚れ仕事をラオシュウが請け負う。
請け負う。
そういう約束だ。
分かっているならそれでいい。ファルツォーネは神への敬意を忘れ、峡谷の敬意をないがしろにしすぎた。
Oh dear, it seems like Mom and Dad have different takes on the situation. I wonder if there's a divorce pending.
あんな無法者どもにブルローネの管理を任せておくわけにはいかない。早急にあの町を我ら峡谷の手に取り戻せ。神もまたその未来をお望みだ。
Okay, so my comment earlier about how people abuse the name of God to push their own agendas, think it was foreshadowing, think that's relevant here.
ご随に芸家。
芸家。
俺たちも以前からファルツォーネのぬるさには違和感を覚えていたからな。俺たちは所詮よそ者だ。その土地の正しさに合わせて生き延びていくのがネズミの流儀。芸家が正しいこの国のやり方を教えてくれるならありがたい話だ。ああ、それと 使い勝手の良い駒をお借りしていることにも改めて感謝を。
私からの心ばかりの援助、信頼の証と思って好きに使ってくれ。あれはすべきことをよく心得ている。私が預かる人の中でも最たる出来だ。
They're talking about a person.
分不相応なもの。例えば従うべき相手を見誤った者の寝首をかくのもうまい。
I just really don't like that we're referring to the person as though they're not a person.
ほう、それは怖い。
Me when the subject matter is absolutely not scary. それは怖い。
芸家の情報と人脈は金につながる。せいぜい利用させてもらうとしよう。予定より愉快な駒が出揃った。おかげでしばらくは楽しめそうだ。
Is that an earring? I like it. All right. I am calling it there. That is part 1. How do I save it? Don't pay attention to all of my saves. Okay, well, thank you so much for going through this with me. Part 1 of the Piofiore Prologue. I can't wait to see how the vampire plot unfurls. Oh, look, it's all my Otome games. Daidoku, Cafe Enchante, Variable Barricade, my favorite Otome game, Fortnite. Anyway, don't know how to do an outro, really. But, stay safe. I'll see you next time. Bye!